All right, welcome everybody. Today is, what is the date today? Today is September 18th, 2017. Welcome to this week's edition of the Business Owners Mastermind Call. My name is John Pyron, and I'm your host. Today's topic is one of those topics that, I have shared this content for many years now, and one of the things that when I first launched my businesses in the past, I absolutely hated cold calling with a passion. I just absolutely hated it. I don't know of anybody that actually likes it, except for maybe one friend of mine, John Quinney's like, man, I love cold calling. I'm like, good for you, dude. And so I had to come up with ways where I can make the least amount of calls to get the highest amount of return. And that's just me and my personality. So I like to find efficient ways to get things done. And that's where I came up with a couple of different referral systems that I'm going to share with you today. In fact, if you're on the live call today, go over to the Facebook group, and there is a link to a Zoom meeting. And I'm live on Zoom, broadcasting this out via the internet, recording it, got the slide presentation. You'll also be able to get a copy of the recording later on there. And so one of the things I want to talk about here today is how to 10x your referrals. Now, and I'm serious about that, how to increase your referrals by tenfold. And so some goals for today, just before I get started, is we're going to talk about 3 ways to increase your referrals. We're going to talk about how to get more of the wow clients that you're looking for. I'm going to get into what the definition of your wow clients are here in a minute. We're going to talk about how to leverage LinkedIn and how to use that tool to get referrals and to get as many referrals as you want. And then finally, we're going to talk about how to take all the stuff I'm going to talk about today and put it into a massive action plan. Because at the end of the day, you can have the greatest mindset on the planet. You can have the greatest systems. But if you can't get your butt to take action, none of it is going to matter. So before we get started, let me talk about our intention for being here today. My intention is this. I'm going to share everything on this call that you need to create 3 different referral systems for your business, pretty much any type of business you ever want to build. I'm going to give you the step-by-step how-to, and you're going to be able to walk away from this call and take massive action and put it in place and start seeing the results of your efforts. In fact, the only reason you won't see results is because you don't take the action. Okay, so that's my intention. Let me ask about you. What is your intention for being here today? Hopefully it's to learn something new. Hopefully the title, How to 10x Your Referrals, answers the one question, which is, you know what, I really need some referral systems in place, because most people only get organic referrals, meaning they do a great job and every now and then somebody gives them a great referral. And I don't want that to be you going forward. I want you to be able to put referral systems in place, know exactly how many referrals you got coming in each month, who they're coming from and where they're coming from and on what day. And so that's my intention today. Hopefully yours is the same. But here's what I need from you, because you have your part on today's call as well. I need you to play full out. Okay, I need you to play full out while you're on this call. And even though it's recording, okay, for those of you that are on the live call, have the opportunity to raise your hand and ask any question that you want. And I'm going to give you some live coaching on this call. So how do you do that? Well, if you're in the Zoom meeting, literally I've got my assistant Chrissy in there, and she's monitoring the chat window, and she's going to make us all aware of any Q&A that's there. If you're on the actual call, the audio call, all you're going to need to do is check your mute button on your phone first, and then I want you to press *6. And *6 will unmute you, and you can come on the call. You don't have to wait for me to ask you or any of that stuff. If you've got some input or you have some questions, I want you to raise your hand, because that's one of the most valuable reasons to be on the live call is you can get your questions answered, number one. Number two, get live coaching. So when I say play full out, I'm saying, man, turn off your text message, focus for the next 35 to 40 minutes. I'm going to go fast and give you all the stuff that you need to implement. All right, so let's rock and roll. Oh, before I get started, I forgot to mention, if you go to johnpyron.com, so johnpyron.com/mastermind, I am going to be launching a mastermind 6-month mentorship mastermind program for coaches and consultants. So I've been able to build a coaching and consulting business to 6 figures in like 4.5 months. I've trained about 285 coaches in 12 different countries and helped a lot of them build 6-figure businesses. I personally work with a coach and consultant that makes over 7 figures, and I'll be at 7 figures probably this time next year. So I'm going to do a 6-month mentorship program. This will be the second time I've done this, and it's going to be by invitation only. So if you go up to the website, you're not going to see any pricing on there. There's literally no way to sign up for it. It's the information about it, and if it's interesting to you, you're going to click on the button and book a personal appointment with me, and in about 10 to 15 minutes, I'm going to walk you through the program and see if it's a fit for you. And if it is, it's going to be an unbelievable mastermind, an unbelievable 6-month program that's going to help you make a shit ton of money as a coach and as a consultant. So definitely go and check that out. All right, let's get down to business here. There's 3 ways to increase referrals. Number 1, we got the inner game, which has to do with your mindset around referrals. Do you look at referrals as, an abundance of referrals out there? Do you look at it as, yeah, I get referrals, but I don't know how, or, I wish I got more referrals, or, what is your mindset around referrals? And we're going to get into that. Next, we're going to talk about your outer game, and this has to do with your systems around how do you set up referral systems. And I'm going to go through step by step exactly how you set up the referral system. So you're going to want to take notes. You're going to want to go back and listen to the recording and take action, and you'll be able to have your own referral systems in place. And then finally, like I mentioned before, you can have the best mindset on the planet and the best systems going. And if you can't get your butt to take action, then none of it matters. Okay? Absolutely none of it matters. Those people that plug into this call, those people that work with me one-on-one, the ones that take massive action are the ones that succeed, and the ones that don't. It's as simple as that. But you're on the call. You're listening to the recording. So you are, otherwise you wouldn't even be, 10X Mastermind Group? Why the heck would you plug into a 10X Mastermind Group if you're not going to take action? So let's talk about the inner game. And the inner game has to do with mindset. And one of the mindsets of a champion is that there's always room to grow. So I can't see any of you, but how many of you would agree with that statement? Probably every single one of you. Now, what's interesting when it comes to mindset, one of the best people to ever master the art of mindset is the great Michael Jordan. And one of the things that Michael Jordan was a master at is controlling his mindset. He was the #1 basketball player of all time. Sure, he had natural abilities and talent, but it was his mindset that made him a great basketball player. I'll give you an example. One of the things that back when it was the Dream Team and Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, all over in Barcelona, kicking everybody's butt, absolutely dominating the floor with team after team. I think they were going to play Portugal the next day. And practice got over. And Larry Bird and Magic Johnson went to look for Michael Jordan, and they could not find him. And finally, after searching, they found him in the practice facility shooting hoops. And they're like, hey, man, what are you doing, dude? You're like the best in the world. Why are you in here shooting hoops? And he said, you know what? I'm not competing against you. I'm not competing against the team we're playing tomorrow. I'm competing against myself. And it was that discipline, that attitude, that mindset that made Michael Jordan great. You see? So what about you? What about you and your mindset as it relates to referrals? Do you look at referrals as a burdensome thing? Are you scared to go and ask for referrals? Most people are scared to ask for the referral. Now think about the irony of that. You do a great job, your customer loves you, and yet we won't put ourselves out there to ask for a referral. And a lot of it has to do with fear, rejection. Maybe they're going to say no. Maybe I need to have a long-term relationship with this person before I ask for a referral. You know the best time to ask for a referral is? When you think about it. If you're thinking about asking for a referral, my advice would be to ask. Take that risk and ask. It will always be no if you don't ask. But you will be amazed and you'll shock yourself if you just break through that mental barrier and go ahead and ask for the referral. So that's the mental aspect, okay? So let's talk about, I'll give you an example. If you're on the screen, I got a client of mine. Her name is Deborah Scarpa, and she owns a company called Design by Friday. And when I first took her on as a client, she'd been in business for 22 years and could not get her business to the next level that she was going after. And sure, she had over 3,000 clients that she had done a great job for. But the biggest challenge was she was waiting around for organic referrals. People just to refer business to her. And she could not break through that barrier. And a lot of it had to do with mindset. And so we started working together. And within about a month, I noticed that she was using safe words like, I don't want to come across as pushy. I don't want to be viewed as a salesperson. I don't want to be a burden. It was things like that that she would say. And I'm like, you have a resistance to sales. She goes, no, I don't. I go, yeah, you have a resistance to sales. And she goes, no way. And I go, yeah. And it's a lot like some of you. Some of you have a resistance to sales. So ask yourself this question. Do you have a resistance to asking for the order, to picking up the phone, to asking for referrals? And see, one of the things that she struggled with was asking for referrals. So I taught her exactly what to do. And I said, hey, you know what? We need to give you a new definition of sales. Because Napoleon Hill in his book, Think and Grow Rich, back in 1933 when he released that book, in chapter 4, he talks about a technique called auto-suggestion. And that is the ability to reprogram your subconscious mind through auto-suggestion, through saying the same thing over and over and over and over again to get a different result. Because see, if you have resistance to sales, understand it's really not your fault. I mean, think about it. Our first exposure typically of a salesperson is either a used car person, somebody knocking on our door when, we're a kid, or, we go and buy a new car ourselves or a used car or whatever, and we see that and what that person goes, puts us through. And we're like, I don't want to be associated with that, right? And so understand this, it's not your fault. Also understand this, that if you do struggle with sales, if you do have a resistance to it, it can affect your outcome. And so the same thing, if you struggle with referrals, if you struggle with asking for the referrals, understand it's going to limit you. And so here's what I did. Here's what I gave Deborah as far as some homework is concerned. I gave her a new definition of sales. And I told her, okay, here's what I want you to do. I want you to write this saying down on a 3x5 card. I want you to repeat it out loud or to yourself 10 times a day for the next 30 days. Now, how many of you would like to know what I told her? So here's what I told her. I said, here's what I want you to write down. Selling equals service. Sell from honesty, integrity, and compassion. Selling is about leading. Selling is about moving people to action. So let me say this again so you can write it down. Selling equals service. Sell from honesty, integrity, and compassion. Selling is about leading. Selling is about moving people to action. And that's what I told her. And I said, can you do that? And she said, yes. And so here she goes. She writes it down. She goes on it by faith. And within 30 days, her income doubles. And then 30 days later, her income doubles again. And then 30 days later, her income increases another 50%. Why? Because she changed her mindset. And she just embraced the simplicity of reprogramming her mindset and applied some skills. Obviously, I'd like to say it was just a mindset, right? But I gave her techniques and skills and other selling skills and that sort of thing. And now, I mean, literally more than 10 times the increase, probably 20 times the increase than when we first started working together. So mindset is a very important thing, okay? Here's a quote that she says. It's up on LinkedIn. You can go find it up there. We highly recommend John Piner for his consulting service. Our business revenue grew 4 times while working with John because we only worked together for 4 months. He really got us started working on the right directions and pointing things out that we were not aware of, that we're really helpful. Thank you so much, John. We appreciate your help. Okay? So reach out to her, and she'll tell you flat out, hey, you know what? Listen to what he's telling you. Embrace it. Face your fear is the point. And you will have a very similar result. So that's the mindset. Let's talk about the outer game. Let's get into some systems, some stuff that you can actually implement. So let's talk about referral systems. There's 3 key ingredients that you're going to want to get and implement in order for it to make this work. Number 1, we're going to talk about how to deal with your current WOW clients. Number 2 is we're going to talk about person of influence. Number 3, we're going to talk about your LinkedIn database. So let's talk about your current WOW clients. Who are your WOW clients? And how do you know if somebody's a WOW client? Well, it's very simple. When your phone rings and you have a choice to either answer the phone or decline the call, what's your first instinct? Do you look like this guy where he's pulling his hair out and he's like, oh my God, I don't want to talk to this person? Or you like this guy where it's like, wow, I'm excited. I can't wait to take the call, man. If I'm in a meeting, it's like, hey, man, I'm going to text them and say, hey, I'll call you right back after I'm done with the meeting. So what's the difference? Some of you have some clients out there that you're not very happy with. That when they call you, you're like, ah, but you keep them because you don't have any other systems in place to replace them. Well, not after today. What I've discovered is I can make a whole lot better impact and have a lot more success financially by working with clients that I love, that I respect, they respect me, that I get a mutual beneficial relation, a mutual benefit out of the relationship just as much as they do. And that's one of the things that my mentor Steve taught me is, hey, you know what? Only work with those clients that are WOW clients. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to go and I want you to do what's called a perfect client exercise. Okay? So, and basically what that means is I want you to make a list of your top 10 clients. Now, this assumes that you have clients. Okay? So for those of you that don't have clients, I want you to do this exercise based off of a past business or a past job. But most of you here have clients, so I want you to make a list of your. And if you got 5, do it with 5. Whatever the number is, the number is. Okay? So I want you to make a list of your top 10 clients. Next is I want you to walk them through a perfect client exercise. Okay? And so here's what you do. We're going to make a list of our WOW clients. Number 2, we're going to describe them in detail. what are the unique characteristics of that client? You know, it depends on what's important to you and your business, and what do you look for in characteristics as a client? Do you look for a certain age bracket? Maybe they need to be a homeowner. Maybe they need to be male or female. Maybe they need to be a certain age bracket. Maybe they need to drive a certain car, own a home, rent a home. Whatever the parameters are that you measure to determine whether a client is a fit for you or not is what I want you to pay attention to. So you got your top 10 clients. You're going to look for what are the characteristics that describe this client. Third is I want you to describe what makes them a wow client. What is it about them that makes them a wow client? Okay? Is it, see if I can start this video and see, here's the cool thing. For those of you that are just joining, right? Okay? I'm literally, that are on the live video, okay? One of the things I announced at the beginning of this call is the fact that I'm going to start a code business mentorship program. Okay. Now the cool thing is it gives you the ability to do your business anywhere in the world. So I happen to be in Oak Grove today. Didn't have a chance to make it back to my studio. So literally, because of the type of business I've built, I can do it from anywhere, and I'm sitting in my car. So there you have it. Okay. So living proof that it works. Okay. So let's get back to the exercise. So number 3, describe what makes them a wow client. So now we've identified our perfect client. Here's the cool thing. I can go and share with anyone who a great referral is for me. See, a lot of us don't get referrals because we don't know exactly what type of referral we're looking for. And when you do this exercise and you do it consistently, you're going to find that your client demographic is going to change. Like my client demographic has changed dramatically over this last year. This time last year, I was looking for anybody under $1 million a year in revenue. But over this past year, a lot of my clients, I've grown their revenue into the millions of dollars. And so now the clients I'm attracting more to me, they need to be in business. They need to have a very well-established business, preferably over $1 million if they're going to work with me one-on-one. And they need to be, they need to have a staff, so they need to have employees, and they need to have the open-mindedness it takes to bring in somebody like myself. So my demographic has changed for my perfect client. And so literally, I'm getting ready to go through this exercise again in my own business because I've noticed that the clients I'm attracting this year are way different than the clients I was attracting last year. And so you want to do this exercise as often as necessary. All right. Okay, now that we've identified who our top 10 perfect clients are, okay, and we have that relationship, now what we want to do is we want to survey them. We want to survey our clients by email first. So we want to send them the survey, and then we want a phone call. We want to follow up with a phone call. Because I found that if I just send out the survey, don't expect them to fill it out and send it back. Even though they're your great client, people are busy. And so we want to survey them by email and then by phone. Okay, next we want to ask specific questions, no more than 5. So I'll give you an example. One of the best surveys I do in my own business, and I've consulted other clients, is this. I ask them, hey, I call up, so if I was calling up Chrissy, right, and I said, hey, you know, let's just say, let's just take my client Stephanie Scheller. So I call up Stephanie, I go, hey, Steph, hey, I'm looking to grow and expand my business, and I'm looking to really target some very specific referrals. And I'm looking to make some dramatic improvements in my marketing. Would you be willing to help me out for 5 minutes and answer 5 questions? And she's going to say yes. Because after all, she's my wow client, right? So I'm going to say question number 1. If you were in a position to refer me to a friend or colleague, or even one of your clients for that matter, would you refer me? And she's going to say either yes, which I already know she would say yes, or she's going to say no. And I want the answer to either one of those questions. If she says yes, I'm going to go, okay, do me a huge favor. And this is the key to your marketing. Tell me, what would you share with your friend or colleague? What would you tell them about me? What would you tell them if you were going to refer me? How would you describe me? Why would you refer me? Give me some detail. What would you tell them? And she's going to give me all the key words that I want to use in my marketing, my social media, all this. This is all a part of the referral system. Okay? I need to know this information. And I'm going to write it all down. Okay? Now here's a magic move. Here's kind of a side note. When your client gives you little quotes about you, what I want you to do, how many of us say, hey, you know what, can you go on LinkedIn and give me a recommendation? Can you give me a quote? Can you write me a referral letter? And then we never get it, right? So here's the key. When you got them on the phone and they say, you know what, John, I would refer you. I already didn't tell you what Stephanie was sharing with me. You know what, John, when you and I first started working together in 2014, I was an employee, making $3,500 a month as an employee. And my dream was to own my own business. And you helped me start a business. You helped me create all the packages and the programs and everything. And literally, I was able to quit my full-time job in 4 months. And since then, I've become a best-selling author, an internationally known speaker, a multi-six-figure business coach, and a top sales trainer, and I'm a TED Talk speaker. And so I would refer you in a heartbeat, because you would literally have changed my life forever. And that's what she would say. Now, by the way, Steph, if you're listening to this, that's a great quote. So anyways, all I'm going to do after she says that is I'm going to say, hey, do you mind if I, because I just wrote what you said down, Steph. Do you mind if I put your name to it and use it in my marketing? And she's going to say yes. And now I have my quote. So I don't have to chase her down for a quote or any of that stuff. And literally I can type it out and send it to her and say, hey, do me a favor, paste this on your Facebook wall, paste this as a recommendation on LinkedIn, and she'll do it. Okay? So that's how you ask. So that's number one. If you're in a position to refer me to a friend or colleague, would you? Follow-up question to that is, if they say yes, you're going to want to know all the details as to why. If they say no, you want to know why. Why not? What do I need to do to turn you into a yes? And then your client's going to tell you all the stuff that's wrong with your business model, and you're going to be able to make the changes necessary to turn them into a yes. Give you an example. One of the companies that I own a portion of, a company called NAC Technology Group down in Lodi. And they have a company called Harold W. Thompson as a client. And Harold W. Thompson is a really nice company, and Sheila, the owner over there, great lady. And I went and did what's called a QBR, a quarterly business review. And basically, it's just a check-in. Hey, how are we doing? You know, how are we doing as a client? If you were in a position to, and I asked her, I said, if you were in a position to refer me to a friend or colleague, would you refer me? And she said no. And I said, really? And I go, would you mind sharing with me what I need to do with my staff? Okay? Because I have a whole staff in that company. What do I need to do as a company? Okay? To change, to make modifications, improvements, ads, whatever. What do I need to do to turn you into a yes? And literally, she gave me the step-by-step. This is exactly what I need you to do in order to turn me into a yes. So I took that information, got together with my staff, gave them all the stuff, made the improvements, made the changes within the company culture, added some new things to our service line, and a couple of checks and balances to fix it. And then went and met with her a month later, and I said, are you happy now? are you a yes? And she said yes. And I said, when I asked you if you were in a position to refer, here's the next question, by the way. When I asked you if you were in a position to refer me to a friend or colleague and you said yes, I'm just curious, who would you refer me to? Who was on your mind when you said yes? And they're going to tell you. Okay? Now, if you really want to put this on steroids, the next couple of questions are very important. So prior to you calling your client or prior to you meeting your client, what I want you to do is go and connect with your client either on Facebook or social media or Twitter, whichever makes sense for your type of business. And I want you to get connected with them first. Now, how many of you know that we hang out with people with very similar interests that we have? Business owners typically hang out with other business owners. I think of all the friends I have, and with the exception of a handful, all of them own their own businesses because we have a lot in common. You know, I mean, I have 4 different businesses that I own a percentage of right now and 8 other businesses that I control with a combined total of over 100 employees. And so I'm running a lot of different companies with different businesses, and I hang out with people that have companies with have companies with employees. Why? We have a lot in common. Okay? Your client is the same way. Your client hangs out with other people just like them. How many of you would like to have 10 more clients just like the top 10 you have right now? I would. Take some water here. And so join their social network. Now, prior to making the survey call, go to their LinkedIn profile. In my case, I go to my client's LinkedIn profile and I look up business owner because that's who I'm going after. If you're looking for, if your target client is graphic designers, type in graphic designer. If your target client is human resources, type in human resource. Whatever your target client from the perfect client exercise is, you now have the keywords to type in any social media network and get all of your clients' friends or connections. So now when I go to my client, I say, hey, if you were in a position to refer me to a friend or colleague, would you? And they say yes. Then I ask them the follow-up question, and then I ask them the third question, which is, when you were thinking of somebody to refer me to you, who were you thinking of? And they say, now they might say, well, let me get back to you on that. Hey, no problem. I'm just curious. I went to your LinkedIn profile before calling you, or I went to your LinkedIn profile prior to meeting with you if you're meeting with them in person, because in person is a whole lot more valuable if possible. And I pulled these 10 people that you're directly connected to on LinkedIn. Now, this is a very important thing because they are connected to them on LinkedIn. You're not. And I ask them, hey, who on here do you actually know? And I show them the list. I say, do you know Bill? No. Do you know Sally? No. Do you know Mary? Yes. Do you know Fred? Yes. Do you know? And I get the yeses and nos out of the way first, and then I go back to the ones that they said yes, and it's usually an average. I'm averaging right now about 5. And I say, okay, how do you know this person? Tell me a little bit about this person. Would you mind if I called them? If I called them and told them you referred me, would they know you? Yeah. Do you mind if I call them and tell them that you referred me? And they're going to say, no, I don't mind at all. Again, they're your wow client. I've yet to have a client tell me no. To be quite honest, no bullshit. I've yet to have a great client tell me no that I can't mention their name. Okay? If it's done properly. Now, I have my list. Now, here's what happens. because I've showed them the list and I've gotten their brain working, most of the time they think about somebody that's not on that list, and I walk out with an additional 2 to 3 referrals. Okay. Now you can ask a couple more questions for a total of, I wouldn't do more than 3 to 5 questions. 3 is pretty good, but no more than 5. You can ask things like, hey, what kind of products, services, or goods can we add to our services to make your experience better? Okay. Or in the sales process of becoming a client, how can we make improvement there? Or you can ask a question like, what's your biggest goal this year in business? Or more importantly, what are your key frustrations, issues, and or concerns in your business right now? Now that's a very powerful question in a survey, because now I get to uncover what challenges my client has. And if I can't help them, guess what my job is now? Is to go find somebody to help them, give that person a referral. Now that person owes me a referral. Okay. So you're going to find the common words in the surveys. Okay. Once you do all the surveys, you want to find those common words to, hey, if you're in a position to refer me to a friend or colleague, would you? If so, would you explain to me in great detail what you would tell them? You're going to highlight all the keywords just like you did in the perfect client exercise. And what that's going to do is it's going to give you all the marketing keywords that you put on your social media profile, that you put on your LinkedIn, that you put on your Facebook, your Twitter, your website, all your email communication. Use all that information to better your marketing. I mean, this is like taking candy from a baby. Instead of spending thousands of dollars doing a ton of market research, okay, you already have your target market in your own clients. Now, there are occasions where you got to do market research, but quite frankly, most of us that have existing clients, we could do it with our own clients, and they're more than willing to help us out. Okay. Now, I have all of this stuff, and Chrissy, here's the information that I need you to create a new Dropbox folder for this, but I have an entire survey, all the survey materials, how to create your own survey, a step-by-step how-to video on this. Let's drop that into a Dropbox, and let's give this to people for those that are listening to the recording. So here's what you want to do. You need a text. This is episode 101. So you're going to text episode 101. You're going to text your full name and first and last name, and your email address to 916-741-0596. So 916-741-0596. You're going to text episode 1 to that, so I know what Dropbox folder to add you to that. Okay, and you'll have all the information that you need to implement the survey stuff. Okay. All right, let's talk about some referral systems. Person of influence. Absolutely the most powerful referral system I've ever used. Started using this back in 1999. Very first POI was a guy named Jeff Stewart, who's probably on the call or listening to the recording today. But Jeff and I, here we are 17, 18 years later, a little over 18 years later, we are still referring business back and forth because we both go after the same client. So here's the definition of a POI, okay? A POI is somebody that has a high percentage of your target market inside their network. Not everybody's a POI for you. A POI, see, everybody we know, every human being we know has a network of people that they have influence with. But not everybody's a POI for you. So like I said, a POI is somebody who has a high percentage, your target market inside their network. And Jeff Stewart was selling cell phones to businesses for Sprint, Verizon, and T-Mobile at the time. And so literally both of us were going after the exact same client. Another POI, which is probably my second best POI when I first started this system back then, was a guy named Sheldon Sanford. and he sold data and telecom services, and he was going after the same type of business I'm going after. Next, I added Jim Canaris, who's basically financial planner, business insurance, liability insurance, that sort of thing. And he's going after the same client as well. Dave Krimmel was doing telephone systems. Dave Gross was doing cabling systems. I was looking for POIs, people that were going after my target market. Okay, so that's POI. Now let me give you 5 steps on how to implement POI. And Christy, we want to make sure that we add the part 1 of 5, all the 5 POI videos. We want to add into that Dropbox as well. Okay, step by step how to implement POI. Okay, so step number 1 is going to be make a top 10 list. Identify the categories of people that go after your target market. Like in my case, I go after business owners. And so I'm targeting people that do data and telecom, okay, because they go after business owners. I'm targeting people that sell business insurance because they go after business owners. I'm targeting people that are a bookkeeper that goes after a business that has multiple employees. And I only need a handful, okay? But if you're just getting started with this exercise, you're going to make a top 10 list of the different categories of people that go after your target client. Next is we're going to narrow that list down to 4. So if you know them, great. If not, you don't even have to know them. Okay? So what I want you to do is I want you to narrow it down to a list of 4, and I'll show you how to do that here in a second. Number 2 is you're going to visit their LinkedIn. Or number 3, you're going to visit their LinkedIn. Okay? Number 4, you're going to meet with them. And number 5, you're going to use a referral form. Okay? So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to make your top 10 list. Then you're going to pick up the phone. Okay? You're going to call every single one of them. First, you're going to connect with them on LinkedIn if you're not already connected to them. And you're going to call them all. And you're going to say, hey, Joe, it's John Pyron. Hey, I see that you sell business insurance. And I see that you go after business owners. And I got to thinking, since you and I are going after the same client, we should probably get together and I'll buy you a cup of coffee and see if it makes sense for us to work together. Now, that's one way to do it. The most powerful way to do it is this. Go and interview your top 10 existing clients. Some of your existing clients are POIs for you. And some of them will lead you to a POI. See, my top 10 clients all use business insurance. So it would be very simple for me to go to my top clients and go, hey, I'm looking to develop a good, solid referral person. I already have a person I refer business insurance, but I'm saying if I was creating this from scratch, I would go to my existing clients and say, hey, who do you use for your business insurance? And the reason I want to know is because I'm looking to find a go-to referral partner that I can refer business to for business insurance. And I can't think of a better person than you to refer me to that person. Okay? Do you like the person that you use for business insurance? If so, tell me about them. What do you like about them? That sort of thing. And literally, your existing client base will help you build your referral network. It's like taking candy from a baby. How much more simpler could it be? So those are a couple of ways to get your list started. Once you've found out and identified who the POIs are, you're going to visit their LinkedIn and connect to them. Then you're going to want to meet with them. Hey, Joe, my client Bill uses you for business insurance. He tells me you're a great guy. And I figured since I have Bill as a client and you have Bill as a client, that we probably both have other clients in common, or we could have other clients in common. I'd like to buy you a cup of coffee, get to know you better, and see if there's any way that we can refer business back and forth. And he or she's going to say yes. And then you want to follow step by step. What I teach on those videos is we're going to meet them for coffee, get a chance to know them. Prior to going there, I'm going to do a search on their LinkedIn. I'm going to print out the top 10 people I want them to refer me to. Okay? And then I'm going to explain to them what a good referral is for me. They're going to explain to me what a good referral for them is. We're going to identify a baby step that we can both take. I'm going to give them a referral. And my preference is going to be to give them my best client as a referral. Now, why my best client? Because it's the least risky. See, your best client knows you. Your best client's dedicated to you. Your best client's loyal to you. And if that person screws up with your best client's going to tell you and going to understand. Now, I prep my client. And I say, listen, man, I'm referring this person to you. I'm vetting them for business insurance. Yeah, I already got business insurance, John. I know. But would you do me a favor and walk them through the process and give me your honest feedback about them? And sometimes they end up switching business insurances. Sometimes, they switch to whatever services I've introduced. But what I'm looking for is an honest feedback. And then we use the referral form, okay? And the referral form, we'll put that in there too, Chrissy. It's got memory joggers. It's like, here's what I do. Here's the type of referral it is, and there's 4 blank spaces for somebody to fill that out, and you give them a referral fee for the referrals. Okay. Now, for those of you that want to use LinkedIn, it's simple. Go to LinkedIn. It's one of the most powerful things going because you now have access to your client's contact list. It's like going to your client going like this. Hey, can I borrow your cell phone for a minute? Because I want to download all your contacts. And the client's like, have you lost your mind? You're like, but you have the same thing with LinkedIn. You literally can go to LinkedIn, connect with your client, and now you have access to all of their contacts. So for those of you that are watching on Zoom, if you notice, I looked up Jim Canaris here. Jim Canaris is a guy I've been doing a POI relationship with since 2007. So on the third Thursday of every month, 3:30 in the afternoon at Panera Bread on Howe Avenue in Northrop, Jim and I get together. Okay? So Jim and myself, we get together and we go over, basically it's a little half-hour appointment. Hey, how's it going? How did it go last month? Great. What goals did you hit? What are the goals you're going after next month? And then literally I print out something like this where it has 10 contacts, okay? And I sit down with Jim and I go, hey, listen, who on here do you know? Who on here do you actually know? And we'll circle them, okay? So how you do that is you go and you click on their, now you're going to have a premium account to do this, and it's well worth it. You can get a premium account of LinkedIn for 60 days for free. Try it out, okay? So I'm going to click on their connections and I'm going to do a search. I'm going to type in who I'm looking for. And up and lo and behold, if you're looking at the screen, there's 14 people in his deal called President. Now, it's funny, is Stephen Harper on here has become a client of mine. Henry Chang's been a network partner of mine. Strati Varakis is one of my top clients. Brandon's been a client of mine. Okay? And so this is how I got him. I printed something out like this and said, hey, who do you know? Now, what's interesting is every time Jim and I get together, we always walk away with people that are not even on this list. And you can do the same thing. So that's what you do with LinkedIn. Then you're going to want to use this referral form. And again, it has a place for your name, company, phone number, email, memory joggers. What's what's the type of business that you're looking for, and 4 places for them to put their referral information. Okay. So give you an example. If you notice back in the form that I showed you, Strati Varakis was connected to Jim, right? So Strati owns a company called Calm Computer Consulting, okay, Calm Computing. And they're one of the top IT managed service companies in all of Sacramento. Excellent, excellent company. In fact, if any of you listening to this live call or the recording, you need an excellent IT company, give me a call. I'll gladly refer you to Strati. So I'm sitting there and we're talking, Jim and I are meeting, and I'm going through my little LinkedIn example, And he says, yep, you can contact this person, this person, this person, this person. Strati was nowhere on that list at all. But because I walked him through that process and showed him exactly what it is I was looking for, Strati's information came up. And now Strati and I have been working together for over 2 years, one of my best clients. Okay? Strati's referred me to a ton of people. And so this process works. You want to go ahead and make it happen. So again, if you want all the referral system materials, 5 videos on the POI, step-by-step how to get to it, text episode 101, your full name, okay, first and last name, your email address to 916-741-0596, 916-741-0596. And if you think I'm going to add you to an email list, you're absolutely right, I'm going to. But I don't ever really spam. The only thing I send out is good stuff like this. All right, so we talked about the inner game. We talked about the outer game. Let's talk about taking action. Okay? Very simple. Here's your action plan. I want you to, once Chrissy processes this recording and puts it up on the podcast channel, and then process the video and puts it up on YouTube, I want you to go and download it. In fact, she's going to put the process video recording or the screenshots and all that stuff in the Dropbox folder. So if you do text, you're going to get access to all that. And then here's what I want you to do. I want you to go back through it and watch or listen to it 7 times. That's your action plan. And I want you to take action. And if you have any questions, if you need any clarification, you simply go to my website, johnpyron.com, click on book appointment, and I'll give you 10 to 15 minutes on the phone to help you clarify it. I want you to succeed and win with this because it will change your life, okay? So if you need to get a hold of me, that's how you get a hold of me, okay? And there's my email, my cell number, all that stuff. Connect with me. Go out and take action on this call today and everything that you've learned and make it happen. You can do it. I believe in you. So next week we're going to do episode 102. I'm going to be looking through all the different clients and all the different problems that I've solved over the last couple months and come up with a really, really hot topic that's going to help us grow as business owners. If you got any ideas or recommendations for topic, send me the top. Here's what I want you to do. Send me the top business challenge that you're having in your business. And I'll send you something special in the mail. Go out and make it happen, everybody. We'll talk to you later. Take care.